Alright, so this is really talking about increasing, decreasing, positive, negative, basically everything that everybody hated about the first unit. So let's think about increasing. So if anywhere that this graph is going to be going up, now remember the roller coaster mentality. So anywhere this is going to be going up, so you're plugging along. So remember, it's not just, a little part. So you go from your minimum right here all the way up. So anywhere that you'd be chugging along up the hill of the roller coaster is increasing. So you're looking at your x-coordinates, remember, so let's go ahead and label our x-coordinates. So this is negative 2, 0, 2, 0, and 0, negative 4. Now remember, you're only looking at your x-coordinates. So if we were to look, that's negative 2, positive 2, and 0. So for increasing, it's increasing where? It's increasing anything where x is greater than 0. So remember, you're looking at your x-coordinate. Your x-coordinate there at the minimum is 0. So increasing is greater than 0. Now obviously, where would decreasing be? So if increasing is greater than 0, then decreasing would be the opposite. So it would be decreasing is x is less than 0. Anywhere you're screaming your head off basically on the roller coaster is going to be decreasing. Now let's look at the negative part. Now remember, anything below the x-axis, and a lot of people like to color this in, anything below the x-axis is negative. So let's look. So negative, my pen's kind of being weird. Alright, so negative is from this point to that point. And it's your x-coordinate, so negative 2 to 2. What that's saying is x is in between this point and that point. Somewhere in between those 2 points is x when it's negative. Now, let's look at the positive version. So let's look at the positive side. Anything above the x-axis is going to be positive. So we have positive. Now remember, how many parts are positive? We have 1, 2. So you're going to have 2 inequalities here. This first inequality, you're going this way from that point. So x is less than negative 2. Now for this one, you're going this way from this point. So x is greater than 2. I'll give you a tip. Usually with positives, especially with quadratics like this, you're going to have one less than sign and one greater than sign. Because normally you'll have 2 parts that are either positive or 2 parts that are negative. So when you have 2 parts like this, whether it's positive or negative, you're going to have one less than, one greater than sign. Alright, so, and last but not least, let's talk about domain. Domain are your x values. Now, if you look at this graph, eventually, remember these arrows, what they mean, that they keep going forever, and they'll be going out this way forever and out that way forever. So what that means is your domain is going to be all reals. Now remember our little sign here, looks like a dollar sign that's an R. That means all real numbers. So that means that every number, negative, positive, 0, everything's going to be eventually used in this quadratic. Now your range are your y values. So let's look. Where do your values stop for your y value? If you have a minimum, then they stop at your minimum. Alright, so now your minimum, so y is greater than or equal to your y value of that minimum. So negative 4. That's one of the only times that you'll use your y value is during your range. And your end behavior. I know this is a lot, but if you need to, you can always pause this video, go back, rewind, listen to me drone on more. So you're in behavior. Again, you're thinking about these arrows right here, what they mean. So we're saying, alright, so as x goes to positive infinity, because this is positive infinity, this is negative infinity, and for y, that's positive infinity, this is negative infinity. So as x goes to positive infinity, so as x is going out that way, f of x, or y, is going to positive infinity. And then as x approaches negative infinity, f of x goes to positive infinity. I'll give you a tip with quadratics like this, so the U shape or the hill shape, depending on if it's an upside down U or it's a correct U. Right here, the f of x is going to positive infinity, f of x is going to positive infinity. Those are going to be the same. For quadratics, those are the same. Because both arrows right here are either going to be both pointing up or both pointing down. Now I want you to remember that. For in behavior, if your arrows are pointing up, that means it goes to positive infinity. If they're pointing down, then it goes to negative infinity. So the only thing that really changes in behavior is where your x is going. Because one's going to the left, one's going to the right. So now remember within behavior too. With quadratics, both your arrows are pointing the same way. But if you had like one that is a cubic, then you won't. But we'll get to that in just a minute. So again, if you have any questions about this, you can always ask me, or you can rewind this video and go back to anything that you missed.